If someone says $10,000 can safely pay you $1,000 every month, stop and calculate the return. $12,000 of annual income from $10,000 requires a 120% annual yield before taxes and fees. That is not a normal passive income investment. It is extraordinary risk, an unsustainable promise, or potentially a scam. $1,000 a month is possible. But the honest question is not which secret asset creates it overnight. The real question is how much capital, time, and risk the income requires. Today, we reverse the math. $1,000 per month equals $12,000 per year. At a hypothetical 3% annual yield, you need $400,000. At 4%, you need $300,000. At 6%, you need $200,000. At 8%, you need $150,000. The pattern looks tempting. Chase a higher yield and contribute less capital. But yield is not free. Investor.gov explains that higher potential returns generally come with higher uncertainty and risk of loss. A yield tells you what the asset may distribute. It does not tell you whether the payment will continue, whether the principal will fall, or how much you keep after taxes and expenses. Start with interest. If an insured savings product hypothetically pays 4% for an entire year, $300,000 produces about $12,000 before taxes. Divide that by 12, and you get $1,000 per month on average. But rates change. The FDIC's national rate data shows that the average savings rate can be far below the most competitive offers. A temporary promotional rate is not a 30-year income guarantee. Taxes matter too. The IRS says most interest from bank accounts, money market accounts, certificates of deposit, and taxable bonds is taxable income when it becomes available to you. And inflation matters. Investor.gov warns that savings can lose purchasing power when the interest rate fails to keep pace with rising prices. Interest income may offer stability and liquidity when the account and institution are properly verified. It does not eliminate rate risk, inflation, or taxes. Now consider dividends. A 4% dividend yield also requires roughly $300,000 to target $12,000 per year before tax. But a dividend is not the same as bank interest. Investor.gov explains that companies may distribute earnings to shareholders, but stock prices move up and down, and investors can lose principal. Mutual fund and ETF distributions may also change as market conditions change. The IRS separates ordinary dividends from qualified dividends, and the tax treatment can differ. Your after-tax income depends on the account type, the investment, and your own tax situation. The dangerous shortcut is buying whatever advertises the highest yield. A distribution can look large because the asset price has collapsed. A company can cut its dividend. A fund can distribute money while its value declines. Income and total return are not identical. Always examine the principal, fees, diversification, and sustainability of the payment. Which stage are you in right now? Building your first $50,000, between $50,000 and $300,000, or already above $300,000? Comment only the range, never your exact balance. And subscribe if you want financial math without unrealistic promises. Passive income does not have to come only from interest or dividends. A diversified portfolio may generate cash through a planned withdrawal strategy that combines distributions with occasional share sales. At a 4% initial withdrawal, $300,000 equals $12,000 in the first year. But 4% is an assumption, not a promise. Markets fluctuate. Selling during a downturn can damage a portfolio faster, especially early in the withdrawal period. Inflation, taxes, fees, and the length of time the money must last all affect the result. Investor.gov emphasizes matching investments to your time horizon and risk tolerance. Money needed within 5 years generally should not depend on volatile assets that may be down when you need to sell. Rental income can work, but rent is not profit. A property collecting $2,000 per month does not automatically create $2,000 of passive income. Mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, repairs, vacancies, legal compliance, and management costs come first. The correct number is annual net cash flow after realistic expenses and reserves divided by the total cash invested. Personal labor also counts. If you manage tenants, repairs, and bookkeeping yourself, the income may be profitable, but it is not fully passive. Never compare a rental property's gross rent with a savings account's net interest or a portfolio's total return. Use the same after-expense, after-tax framework for every option. For many people, the real objective is building the capital first. Using a hypothetical 7% annual return, compounded monthly, reaching $300,000 from zero would require approximately $1,733 per month for 10 years. Over 15 years, about $946 per month. Over 20 years, about $576 per month. Over 25 years, about $370 per month. These are illustrations, not forecasts. Investor.gov uses 7% in educational compound growth examples while clearly explaining that investments do not have a guaranteed return. The lesson is not that 7% will appear every year. The lesson is that time can replace part of the monthly contribution. Before trusting any passive income claim, calculate 4 numbers. First, required capital. Annual income divided by the expected yield. Second, net yield. Subtract fees, vacancies, maintenance, and other costs. Third, after-tax income. Interest, dividends, capital gains, and rental income can receive different tax treatment. Fourth, sustainability. Ask what happens if rates fall, a dividend is cut, a tenant leaves, or the market declines. $1,000 a month is not created by a secret. At 4%, the clean starting estimate is $300,000 before taxes and costs. You can require less capital only by accepting more work, more uncertainty, more leverage, or more risk. That is the truth behind passive income. The payment is the visible part. Capital, time, and risk are the price. Next, watch our video on the 5 hidden 401k mistakes that can quietly slow the portfolio you are trying to build.